Okay. We're going to begin by going over the bell work. This is an inequality. Now, the one thing I need to remember about an inequality, if I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to flip my inequality symbol. I know right away, because this is a negative 2x, and the x is on one side, I know right away I'm going to have to divide by a negative, so I'm going to be flipping my inequality. First, I'm going to subtract 6. So I get negative 2x is greater than 18. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. Now, because I divided by a negative, I flip my inequality. Negative 2 over negative 2 is a positive 1. So x is less than negative 9. Find the slope and y-intercept. Have to isolate the y. This is going to be a positive 3x. 3 divided by 6 is 1/2 x plus 2. So my slope is 1/2, not 1/2 x, 1/2. My y-intercept is 2. Is that what y'all got?
Yes.
Bless me. Okay, this is memorization. All right, so in class we're going to do a foldable. If you want, you can come in, grab a sheet of paper, and I'll go through with how to do a foldable with you. All right, so coincide. Now, we're going to talk about coincide, parallel, perpendicular, but intersect at one point, but not perpendicular. If you have Mr. Bondison for a teacher, he talks about memory techniques. Memory techniques are vital in high school and in college. Memory techniques are not something that you can just copy from somebody else. They're something that you have to know. For example, one of my favorite memory techniques from Mr. Bondison is for the word vacillate. Anybody have Mr. Bondison in here? How many times does Mr. Bondison vacillate a day? What do you say? He vacillates what?
What's vacillate?
Well, hold on. How many times does he vacillate? I think he vacillates 5 or 6 times a day. I'm a little bit older, so I only vacillate about 2 or 3 times a day. But I do. I vacillate just about every single day. I actually vacillate every day. I mean, I have kids at home. I'm a teacher. I vacillate all the time. Who has Mr. Bondison and knows what vacillate means? What does it mean? Go back and forth in your mind. Yep. When you vacillate, that means you go, wait a minute. I think I want to order a pizza. No. I'm going to go get hamburger. No. I'm going to get pizza. It means to go back and forth in your mind. I don't vacillate quite as much as Mr. Bondison, but I'm a little older. I kind of know what I want now. That's a memory technique that you can use to remember vacillate. However, if you use his technique, you might not remember it. Now, I will say this, the more disgusting the memory technique is, the more likely you are to remember it. I will never forget what vacillate is. Because I picture Mr. Bondison vacillating. Because he does it how many times a day, he says? 6 or 8 times a day? So I picture him going, no, I want pizza. No, I want a hamburger. No, I want a pizza. Because that's what vacillate means. So when we talk about these definitions, if you can come up with a memory technique, it's going to help you. So let's graph these 2 lines. Okay? 2x minus 4. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 2 over 1. Up 2 over 1. Connect the dots. There we go. Now, if I graph 2x minus 4 again, where am I going to be? Am I not going to be the same line? So what do you think coincide means? Coincide means they have the same y-intercept and the same slope. They are the same line. If you cohabitate, every single one of you cohabitates. Do you know what cohabitate means? It means to live with somebody. You cohabitate with your parents. I cohabitate with my wife. Coincide means it takes up the same space. So here you all are copying this down, but if you don't commit it to your memory, it'll do you no good. Somewhere up here, I want you to try to come up with a memory technique and write it down. It can't be mine because you won't remember it. Mine is, oops. Mine is cohabitate. I know what cohabitate means. Don't write cohabitate. You don't know what it means. It means you take up the same space. Now, right now, you'll write cohabitate and go, I know what cohabitate means now. It means same space. Tomorrow, you'll go, cohabitat. What is cohabitat? I don't know what that means. So, when you are deciding if the lines are coincide, parallel, perpendicular, or intersect, the first thing you look at is the what, kids? You look at the slope. If the slopes are the same, it's either coincide or parallel. If the slopes are the same and the y-intercepts are the same, what is it? Coincide. It means it's the same line. So, here we go. Let's go ahead and first look at our slopes. Are our slopes the same? Yep. What do we notice about our y-intercepts? They're different. So, when I get the definition, two lines are parallel when they have the same slope, but different y-intercepts. So, I go to plus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me change colors. I'm a chameleon. And I go down 3 over 1. Down 3 over 1. There's my line. Now, can you think of anything that exists in our world that's parallel? What exists in our world that is parallel? Anybody can think of anything that exists in our world that is parallel? What? Trains aren't parallel, but train tracks are parallel. Parallel looks like train tracks. However, writing train tracks isn't going to do you any good unless you graph it. You have to remember, same slope, different y-intercept, parallel. Same slope, different y-intercept, parallel. Do you understand why you guys struggle so much with this? Because you won't memorize that. So try to come up with a memory technique. I like, you see these two L's right here? Two L's, two of the same slopes. Double L, double slopes, different y-intercept. That probably won't work for you. Double L, double slope, different y-intercept. Double L, same L's, same slopes, different y-intercepts. Because if you have the same y-intercepts and the same slopes, coincide. Same slopes, different y-intercepts, parallel. Perpendicular. What shape does do perpendicular lines make? Anybody know? 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Anybody know what shape perpendicular lines make? My lines aren't very straight, so it might be 1, 2, 3. It might be kind of hard to see. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. 1, 1, 2. You can't see that very well because my lines aren't straight. But what kind of shape is that? Perpendicular lines make an X or a cross. Perpendicular lines will make an X or a cross. Okay? They're perpendicular. An intersection in Arizona, in Phoenix, most of our intersections are perpendicular, except if you're on Grand Avenue. But most intersections You have an east-west street, a north-south street. Where they intersect is usually perpendicular in Phoenix. We recognize this because our slopes will be flipped and opposite. Flipped and opposite. We have -4, so my one slope equals -4. My other slope equals +1/4. -4 is the same as -4/1. It's flipped and opposite. So all you have to look at here is your slope. If your slopes are flipped and opposite, it's perpendicular. Okay? And then last, intersect but not perpendicular. We can abbreviate this. Intersect but not perpendicular. And basically, if it's intersect but not perpendicular, it's none of the above. All right? Look at my slopes. Are my slopes the same? Are my slopes the same? No. Are my slopes flipped and opposite? No. They're opposite, but this is 3. This is not 1/3. So they're not the same. They're not flipped and opposite. That means IBNP. Intersect but not perpendicular. Not flipped, not opposite. Not flipped and opposite. Intersect but not perpendicular. Okay, guys. That's it. That's it. That's the lesson. All right. If you're watching this online, you weren't in class, I would ask that you please come in and let me help you do the foldable. I think it'll help you because this is pure memorization. Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a good day.